For almost 3 decades, investigators were trying to identify a woman found stuffed in a refrigerator and dumped in the California canal. Who was she? Why was she killed? And most importantly, who did it? Buckle up, because today we're diving deep into a chilling story of Amanda Lynn Schumann-Diza, also known as the Lady in the Fridge. Picture this: March 29th, 1995, Stockton, California. A group of scavengers were searching for valuables near an irrigation canal when they came across a refrigerator. Now, if you stumbled upon an old fridge in the middle of nowhere, would you open it? Would you let curiosity get the best of you? Well, they did, and what they found inside would haunt them forever. The decomposed body of a woman. The woman's body was bound and gagged, and she had likely been in the fridge for about 6 months. The cause of death? Blunt force trauma to the head, and police were left with more questions than answers. Who was this woman? What had happened to her? And why would someone go to such great lengths to hide her body? Alright, let's talk about the investigation. Right from the start, detectives knew they were dealing with a brutal murder. But identifying the victim, that was a whole different ballgame. Despite the effort, investigators couldn't match her DNA or dental records to any missing persons reports. And, as we all know, forensic technology in the 90s was very limited, and the case, like many others back then, quickly went cold. This could be someone's daughter, possibly someone's mother or friend, left unidentified for decades. This is the unfortunate truth of many cases from back then. During my research for this case, I used the Doe network, which really helped out a lot. There's a lot of details about the evidence found during the investigation that really helped to paint a clearer picture of what really could have happened to her. Let's go through what she was wearing on that horrible day that she was murdered. She looked as if she had been dressed to go to an outdoor event, so she was wearing blue sweatshirt, Levi shorts size 30-32, Victoria's Secret bra, a Fruit of the Loom t-shirt, multicolored knee-high socks with toes, and gorilla hiking boots worth approximately $120 in 1996, which is kind of expensive for 1996. She was also wearing jewelry, as a wedding ring that was on her right hand, and authorities believed that she may have been separated or estranged from her husband. She was also wearing a leather band that detectives say was part of a charm necklace with ornaments that would have been on the lace of the necklace, but instead were in the victim's pocket. Investigators believe she might have possibly gotten into a fight or a scuffle where she may have had her necklace broken, and the ornaments were collected and then placed into her pocket. Inside the fridge, her body was wrapped and placed with a white blanket and a blue blanket, including a sleeping bag. The victim was discovered decomposed inside a gold 1983 Frigidaire refrigerator in an irrigation ditch along Bacon Island Road in the Delta area west of Stockton. Individuals had been scoping the area for coins, cans, and other metal objects when they found a refrigerator tied shut with a rope and dumped in the levee. They cut through the rope, opened the fridge, and dug through a patched fox fur waterbed and a quilt, and also a Hillary brand sleeping bag before reaching a woman's remains. She had been bound and gagged with a sock and electric tape and had blunt force trauma to her head. Detectives say that the items found inside the refrigerator led them to believe that the fridge had resided in East Bay. They came to this conclusion because the items that they found all had ties to that area. Some of the cities associated were Richmond, Pittsburgh, Oakley, and Brentwood. The electrician's tape used to tie up the victim had been purchased at a military surplus store in Oakley. There was an unopened bag of ice from the Glacier Ice Co., which is produced in Fremont and shipped only to the East Bay. There were also miniature milk cartons in the icebox that are only used mainly in hospitals, schools, or institutions. Based on the contents, police say the refrigerator was likely to have originated between the Highway 680, 580, 4, and Interstate 5. The refrigerator's serial number revealed it had been manufactured in Pennsylvania and sold in Oakland, California. There was a glacier bag inside the fridge with the date August 1994. It is surmised that the descendant was killed sometime between the date of the bag and 30 days prior before her body was found. Hundreds of leads had been followed up, still no success. Fast forward to 2022, and as we all know, technology has come a long way, and cold case detectives decided to give this one another shot. They partnered up with Author Inc., a forensic DNA lab, to analyze her remains. And by early 2023, they had a breakthrough. Using genealogical DNA, they identified her as Amanda Lynn Schumann-Deza, a mother of 3 who had been reported missing in 1994. Amanda was born in August 1965 and lived a turbulent life. At the time of her disappearance, she was separated from her husband and reportedly struggling with personal challenges. She had last been seen in Napa, California, with an unidentified man, where we pause and we ask, who was this man? Was he a friend? Was he someone she trusted? Or was he the one who ultimately ended her life? That, unfortunately, remains unknown. Experts suggest that the killer might have used the fridge to slow decomposition, making it harder for authorities to identify the victim. What kind of person would go to these kinds of lengths? The victim was dressed in a sweatshirt, Levi's shorts, and rather expensive gorilla hiking boots. This suggested a normal young woman dressed for cool weather, outdoor activity, rather than a sex worker, a transient, or any marginal type that you would expect to be unidentified. The refrigerator she was found in contained items that could be traced to the Oakley-Brentwood area of Contra Costa County, 50 miles west of where she was found. The refrigerator was small and not likely to have been used in a kitchen at the time, but it may have been used as an auxiliary refrigerator in a garage perhaps. The fact that there were milk cartons in it indicates that it was in use when she was put in it. It would appear that whoever killed her put her there to prevent decomposition while he figured out how to decompose of her body. It would also suggest that her killer had somewhere he could store this refrigerator with a body in it. It would be very difficult for one person to transport a refrigerator with a body in it by himself. He must have had help. As the case stands today, even though Amanda has been identified, her killer remains unknown. Police are urging anyone with information to come forward. The investigation has ruled out many known serial killers from the time. I'm going to totally butcher this, so get ready. Such as Terry Petter Rasmussen. I don't know. Hope I got that right. Anyways, detectives continue to focus on the man Amanda was last seen with and are pursuing new leads. So remember, the last person she was seen with was a guy that she met in rehab. And apparently they were in a hotel together. There is a reward which has been offered for information leading to an arrest. So here's the big question. Will this case ever be solved, or will Amanda's killer remain in the shadows forever?
I keep on telling you well, you don't come home from nights out.
Cases like Amanda's remind us of the importance of DNA technology in the modern day and the persistence of cold case investigators. But they also remind us of the heartbreak these families endure. Amanda's family now has closure about her identity, but justice is still out of reach. What do you think? Will modern technology and public tips finally lead to Amanda's killer? Or are we looking at another mystery that might never truly be solved? My thoughts on this case are pretty straightforward. I think the evidence really shows what happened, especially the evidence shows that he was a local with all the ties with, the refrigerator, the milk carton, the ice bag. You could definitely tell that he was a local, or maybe he still is a local, who knows. But I do believe that this case is kind of pretty straightforward. not solving it, but in the sense of what might have happened. It's obvious that that refrigerator was used as a means to slow decomposition. He probably stored her, wrapped her up and all that stuff, hoping that, he could save himself some time, and then eventually decided to dump the body a few months later. Now, do I think that he did it on his own? I don't believe that. I was thinking about this a couple minutes before I even said this, but I have moved by myself. And I did move a refrigerator by myself, but the refrigerator was empty. I used a dolly. To prop it on my pickup. I pulled it up and I pushed it into the pickup. It was not that difficult. The difficult part for me was to keep it upright because I wanted my refrigerator to work, and he probably didn't need to even worry about that. So he slid it right into the pickup. So you could do it, but again, my refrigerator was empty. He has a limp body inside a refrigerator, so it's quite a difference. But nonetheless, he could have done it by himself. Maybe not. Maybe he had some help. Who knows? But I do believe that, unfortunately, she might have met up with him somewhere, or even in that location. He hit her over the head with something, killed her, stuffed her, put her in the refrigerator, waited a couple months, put her in a truck, drove out to the levee, dumped the refrigerator, and drove away. That's what happened. So I don't know how they can find him, whether DNA one day, they find DNA under her fingernails or something. I don't know. I have no clue what they actually do have in that sense. But they did find out who she is. So that's a step forward. I'm sorry to the family. Some closure, but at the end of the day, it's nothing, until they find him. Anyways, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive in the case of Amanda Lynn Schumann Diza, also known as the lady in the fridge. If you have any thoughts, theories, or you just want to keep this conversation going, just drop it in the comments below. If you enjoy what I'm doing, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, thank you so much. Thank you to my new subscribers, and stay safe.